Tigers. The second meeting of the season between these two teams, but more importantly, in the big picture, this is huge for a couple of proverbial bubble teams. Mark Jones courtside along with Jimmy Dykes. Jimmy, your thoughts coming into this game?
Well, it's a game that matters, a game that's going to have pressure on it. Both these ball clubs, Jones, here are led by upperclassmen, and well, you can't get any tighter than two teams that are fighting for their NCAA life right now. Missouri won the first ball game back in Columbia, and can Missouri get enough rebounds? I think that's the bottom line in this game.
Both these teams come in playing very good basketball. Missouri has won 5 of its last 7. Tennessee, meanwhile, 4 of its last 6 on a 3-game winning streak. And we are underway. Volunteers with possession. Barton up court. Since coming back to the starting lineup, he's been playing lights out basketball, especially the way he shot it from downtown. Barton off the Maimon screen. Stokes inside to Maimon, who draws the foul on a nice looking play. Foul's going to go against the freshman Jonathan Williams.
Well, you see what Tennessee does from the opening tap. Pound that thing around the rim. Maimon and Stokes in that inside game had 40 points in the paint at Missouri in their first matchup.
Tennessee coming in 19-11 overall, 10-7 in conference play. Nice give and go. Richardson had it blocked by Williams. Out of bounds. Tennessee basketball. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. 25 seconds. Meanwhile, the Tigers come in 21-9 overall, 9-8 in conference. They can still finish as high as the number 4 seed, although they would need a lot of help. Jordan McRae with the miss, and that's what, Jimmy, you alluded to a little bit earlier, rebounds for Missouri.
Yeah, Tennessee, in terms of the percentage of offensive rebounds they get, only Kentucky is better in this league.
Barton looking inside for Stokes. Posted up to Stokes, who's been passing the ball well. Spins and wheels and kicks it out. Barton for 3. And he knocks down another one. He's now 12 of 21 from three-point range in the last couple of games.
And Mark, he's been shooting the ball well because Jarnell Stokes has been passing the ball well anytime they double him on that low block.
Tennessee hasn't trailed, folks, for the last 3+ games. That's how well they've been playing. Clarkson kicks it out. Here's Ross. Ross, the hero in their game a couple of nights ago. A last-second victory against Texas A&M. 8 on the shot clock for Ross. A sweeping hook shot is good.
Yeah, all 3 of those Missouri guards can go get their own, and they can go get their own off the right hand. Make them beat you going left if you're Tennessee.
Here's McRae. Loose ball, and here come the Tigers. Clarkson with a strong move to the bucket, couldn't finish. And it's a run out. McRae open, and he'll get a room service slam.
Mark, what a pass by Josh Richardson. A little bit off balance, and a little bit into a crowd, but kept his eyes up and threw it forward.
Here's Rosberg. Williams the third, nice move, but left it short. And Barton up court for Tennessee.
Good, strong start for Tennessee with their first shot defense and getting it off the glass.
Well, that one way off the mark. One of the rare misses for him from downtown the last 3 games. And Clarkson in a rush. Clarkson, a big guard, Jimmy. He can do that inside.
Well, he did a great job of keeping his dribble alive. It looked like he was going to bring it back out off a little banana cut with a basketball, but instead reversed right back to the rim. Very difficult to handle because he's 6'5".
And using his length on defense right now, knocks it out of bounds. Jordan Clarkson, the transfer from Tulsa. 6'5" junior out of San Antonio, Texas. Missouri in a man now. McRae off the screen and knocks it down. Jordan McRae with a 2-ball. He's averaging a little over 19 a game, has 4 already.
Jordan McRae can make Jabari Brown work in this game as a defender. Jabari Brown, the leading scorer in the SEC, and McRae's putting pressure on him to defend.
McRae to the bucket and gets it to go. Jordan McRae had a huge game against the Tigers the last time out. Went for 30+. Well contested, but a little too overzealous on defense, and it's a foul.
Jabari Brown, over 20 points in 12 of the past 15 ball games. And the reason why he's hitting those numbers, he's no longer just a one-dimensional, one-threat guy. We know he can make threes, but now his ability to do something off the bounce, get himself to the free throw stripe, and make guarded twos, make this kid maybe as hard to guard as anybody in this league.
Jimmy, we've seen him a bunch this year. He shoots it as well, certainly, as anybody in the country, shooting about 43% from downtown. And mass substitutions coming in for Frank Haith as Williams, Rosberg, and Ernest Ross will take a seat.
When the combination, Jones, of those 4 or 5 guys that Frank Haith is going to use inside at the 4 and 5 spot, ideally he wants 20 to 25 points and 12 to 15 rebounds. Can they put up that number against a strong Tennessee front line?
Yeah, they were pivotal in that victory against Texas A&M in their last game. Did a lot of the heavy lifting while Clarkson and Ross, actually Ross in particular, struggled. Tennessee up by 3. Stokes with a big man move inside.
Now, Missouri doesn't double down initially when Darnell Stokes is catching that basketball. They're waiting him to put it on the deck, and he's very good putting it on the deck.
And that's going to be an offensive foul against Post. Timeout on the floor. Tennessee out to a good start, leading by 5 when we come back. Welcome back, everyone, to Knoxville, Tennessee. The Vols with a 5-point lead. Mark Jones courtside along with Jimmy Dykes on senior day, and obviously an emotionally charged day for one of those 4 seniors, Jordan McRae, playing their final home game here at Thompson Bowling Arena. And he has scored in a multitude of ways already, Jimmy.
Well, he has. In that first ball game in Columbia, he had 31 points, but he took 23 shots. He has to be more efficient today, and so far he has been at a 75% clip, made 3 out of his first 4. A long arm dude around the rim that's hard to handle.
You talk about long arm, 7'2" wingspan. And you think about how far he's come during his career here in Knoxville. He began his junior season on the bench. Wasn't one of the players that was getting a lot of minutes, and real tipping point in his career. Had a real heart-to-heart with Coach Martin at one point, and got things turned around both off and on the basketball court, and a very productive guy right now.
Yeah, he was hard to coach. He was really uncoachable his first year on this Knoxville campus. But boy, when the light bulb went on and he started listening and dialed in and absorbing everything that coaching staff said, he, as a person, as a player, went to a whole nother level.
Swinging around weak side, Josh Richardson open. That one rims out and rebounded by Criswell, who lost it on the court. Teddy Valentine says foul against Post.
Yeah, you have to protect guys on the floor in a loose ball scramble situation.
That's Post's second personal foul already. He just checked in a few moments ago. Martin inbounds.
The rebound numbers already concerned. 5-1 in favor of Tennessee.
Out of bounds, it'll be Tennessee basketball. Volunteers coming off a very impressive win against Auburn. They're playing, Jimmy, arguably some of their best ball of the season right now. Tennessee.
Oh, man, they smashed Vanderbilt last Saturday in this building. Then they went on the road and hammered Auburn, playing their best ball at the key time of the season.
Missouri switching it up back into their zone. Richardson going to try it again. Fouled on the shot by Wes Clark, the freshman. And Josh Richardson will go to the free throw line. That's the first personal foul on Clark.
Mark, the ball has been hot for Tennessee, especially against the zone defense of Missouri. The ball has been hot. Stokes has been a good screener with good timing up top. That time allowed Richardson to turn the corner and get downhill.
Richardson at the free throw line for the Vols, an 82% free throw shooter. Knocks down the first, had 10 points in that Auburn game. Richardson, a 6'6" junior from Edmond, Oklahoma.
His ability to become a trusted 36% three-point shooter, real development in his game. He's always been a trusted guy in terms of few turnovers and a lockdown defender. Now another weapon to balance with McCray on that perimeter.
Is he looking for its 20th win of the season? That would be Hanzo Martin's second 20-win season here in Knoxville in his 3 years.
Or Tennessee just took everything away from Missouri that they wanted in that first 15 seconds.
A whistle and a foul going to be called against McCray. That's his first personal. Hanzo Martin's team noticeably in an upbeat mood this morning during shoot-around. Had the tunes going, the music, a mood of levity emanating throughout the building. But it's down to business here at Tip. And I think the money quote from Coach Martin was, "We win today, and it's not just oatmeal for me for breakfast.
Absolutely.
My wife's cooking me breakfast tomorrow."
I'm telling you, this is a game of pressure is what it is.
6-point lead for the Vols. Clarkson off the screen. Boy, Tennessee stout in the half court so far, Jimmy.
Yeah, they give you nothing. They really square you up, and very hard to get a driving angle against these guys in white.
Every shot contested and rebounded that time, too. Here's McCray on the wing. McCray with that long reach, shot it over the top of the defense. Boy, look at Stokes battling underneath. Couldn't get the putback to go.
Yeah, grown man's rebound. It's a little bit underneath the backboard. So that's what you're dealing with.
Clarkson missed the layup. And here's the freshman, Darius Thompson, up to Richardson. Who does the paces of this game favor so far, if anybody, Jimmy?
It favors Tennessee. The reason why is Missouri is not able to get out right now and run in transition. So if you're Tennessee, you're concerned about keeping Frank Haith's three guards who are lethal in transition in a half-court game. That's what they've been able to do so far.
And that's a bench warning against Missouri. And bench decorum certainly becoming a focal point in college basketball over the last couple of weeks, Jimmy.
Absolutely it has. And Ted Valentine heard something and quickly sent a message, not today.
Many people might remember the scene with Ian McCronin recently. Jump shot good by Reese. 9-point lead for the Vols and a great start for the home team. Those two teams meeting for the second consecutive year in the season finale. Last year it was Tennessee winning 75-70. Playing those ball screens really well right now, as you mentioned, taking a lot away, Jimmy.
Well, they're down in anything or icing it on the outer thirds of the floor. Tennessee's so good at early in this game.
Tough shot by Brown off the mark, rebounded by the Vols. Richardson. Reese again, got it! Pardon me, that was Moore. And a timeout. Monty Moore with the jumper to increase the margin to 12.
Well, Frank Haith's biggest issue is his transition defense. They don't stop the basketball until it puts way too much pressure on the black jerseys, and once they converge, boom. Nothing but the bottom from a shooter filled in on the ball side corner. The ball being in the middle of the floor, Mark, it puts a ton of pressure on your transition defense. And Tennessee hot shot out of the gate to start this ball game.
There's a look at one of the seniors, Deron Mayman, in a spirited, impassioned speech to his teammates at their end under the bucket before the game. Basically telling his boys, and I quote, "Let's blow these cats up today." This is a team of singular focus, and right now showing it 18-6. Mayman, if you remember, last year missed all of the season because of that injury. And back in a big way this year, having a great season, and they really missed his leadership last year, something they're taking and using this year, Jim.
Yeah, he's one of the better ones in college basketball, not just in this league. They follow his voice. We had a camera on him for the first hour that we were in the building before tip, and they follow his voice.
See what Missouri runs coming out of this timeout. Criswell on the handoff. 15 on the shot clock. Brown has been quiet so far. Here's Clarkson. Boy, this Volunteer team emboldened by their defense right now. Criswell from the corner. Not the guy you want shooting threes.
Boy, Tennessee, a hungry defensive squad to start this game.
That jumper a little bit short. Brown over to Clark. Clarkson underneath. And he got the reverse and one. Jordan Clarkson draws the foul on Jarnell Stokes.
We talked about the long arm reach of Jordan McRae. Jordan Clarkson, as a 6'5" point guard, can make the same kind of plays around the rack. The baseline drive, shut off on the right side, gets it to the left side, and the foul.
Welcome back, everyone, to Knoxville, Tennessee. The Vols leading the Tigers 18-8. Tennessee, according to our Joe Lunardi, one of the last four ins. And Missouri, meanwhile, on the bubble as well.
Well, the tough start by Missouri all attributed to the unbelievably good locked-in half-court defense by Tennessee. Missouri right now shooting 33% in this game, Jonesy, and they have not gotten one offensive rebound. So Tennessee's first shot defense and their second shot defense is dialed in.
Missouri thought to be by the next four out. That bucket broke a scoring drought of almost 4.5 minutes for the Tigers.
There's a 3-2 zone or 1-2-2 zone, depending on how it shapes up. The three guards on the perimeter, all 6'5".
Tennessee with another almost offensive rebound. Ross with a nice crossover dribble block by McRae. Wow. Amazing recovery by Jordan McRae, using that 7'2" wingspan to make the block.
Jordan McRae bailed out Darius Thompson because Thompson was a 50-50 ball, and he gave about a 50% effort. And Ross just whipped him, but McRae bails it out on the back end.
A quiet afternoon so far for Jabari Brown, the team's leading scorer.
He's being guarded by size, and that's where you have to have a size defender to cover him up.
Good defense that time by Stokes on the switch. And it's one and done at the offensive end again for the Tigers.
Taking everything away, aren't they? Every action that Missouri is trying to run. Tennessee has not only well scouted, but they are well executing what they want to do.
Thompson on the wing. Amon wrestling to get position with Criswell on the block. Now steps out. Good ball movement. Moore from the corner. Drains it.
All started by the offensive cut by Thompson after he gave up the ball. Gets to the weak side of the floor. His man goes to double. Now it's numbers if you reverse the basketball.
Well, we saw this Tennessee team, Jimmy, early in the season against Wichita State, at Wichita State. And offensively, they've got a lot better flow now. This is a different squad. For obvious reasons, of course, it's later in the year.
You know, they went blow for blow with Wichita State for about 35 minutes of that ball game.
Whistling a foul underneath, going to go against Tennessee. A couple of subs going to come back in for the Vols. Josh Richardson and Barton. Thompson will sit down. That foul underneath against Moore. Gonzo Martin getting good production out of his bench. 14 fouls right now against the Vols. Just approaching the midway point of the ball game. And has to throw it all the way back to midcourt. Keith calls out the play.
Antonio Barton has held up so far in this game as a defender on Clark's. Will that continue?
Long jumper, no good by Criswell. He's 0 for 2 now.
That's just a bad shot early by Criswell. That's kind of a my-turn shot. And Frank Cape didn't like it. And I think Rossberg is going to be checking in, and Criswell is going to be sitting down. This is no time of the season for my-turn shots.
Been a disappointing season for Criswell as he heads back to the bench. The senior transfer from Oklahoma City.
Hey, if you're not playing for Missouri and you're playing for yourself, it's going to be a disappointing season. And Criswell has done his fair share of that this year.
With a lot of talent, but they haven't been able to get it out of him as much as they would have liked to, and probably as much as he would have liked to at this point. Tigers in that zone.
The ball's not near as hot as it was the first 3 or 4 times they went against the zone. It's been a little stuck.
Richardson teed it up, and a foul on Rossberg as Stokes went after it. That's the 6th rebound for Jarnell Stokes.
So quick was Jarnell Stokes because Rossberg actually had the angle on him as just a by Stokes to get to the basketball.
Well, he's really been able to build on a successful summer with USA Basketball's under-19 team. They won a gold medal in the Czech Republic. Expanded his game a bit. Playing for the head coach, Billy Donovan. Gray off the mark. And rebounded by Ross. 12-point lead for Tennessee.
They got to get clicking on offense right now. They've got to find something that will get them a couple of 3 baskets in a row. Normally it's Clarkson or Brown. Can those 2 guys shake loose in this game?
Well, look at Barton fight over and through those screens, Jimmy. And a turnover by Missouri. Their 3rd one of the game, but a lot of that had to do with the defense by Tennessee.
Any screening action that Missouri is trying to run, Tennessee is just out in front of the play. Sniffing it out on the ball screen action, forcing Missouri to play with pressure. Pressure on the ball, pressure on the next pass around.
Tigers with just 9 points in the game past the midway point of the first half. Clarkson tips it out of bounds. Tennessee basketball. Tennessee, as I mentioned, they've won 4 out of their last 5. Martin looking for his 2nd 20-win season in his 3rd year here.
There's that 2-3, 3-2 bump zone. Those wings will get lifted high and at times bump down to cover. And if you're patient, reverse that basketball, you can get some corner jumpers.
Raymond turns it over. That's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow in favor of Missouri. The guy that is amongst the national leaders in double-doubles, Jarnell Stokes. 8:10 to go in the first half. Good steal by Barton, but he stepped out of bounds. Jimmy, is it just me or is Missouri in the same kind of malaise that they seem to be in that Texas A&M game right now?
Yeah, you know, that was a very physical ball game earlier this week. And Tennessee's defense is playing as good as I've seen them play all season long. And their hashtag is a tougher breed. And right now that tougher breed is wearing it on them.
7:59 to go in the first half. Lonzo Martin, remember, he took a underachieving team at Missouri State and turned them into conference champions, trying to do the same thing here. And welcome everyone to Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville, Tennessee. Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. Mark Jones courtside along with Jimmy Dykes, the Volunteers leading the Tigers 21-9. Jimmy, this game huge. Both the head coaches respectively not even trying to downplay the importance of this one when you look at where they are on the bubble, both of them.
Well, first of all, you have been outstanding the first 12 minutes of this game.
Thank you
Go
very
back and
much.
watch it. You have been unbelievably on top of your game. You're right, a game that has a lot of meaning, a lot of pressure. Both ball clubs, though, are led by upperclassmen, and the storyline in this game, can Missouri right now find offense? Tennessee's defense has been a juggernaut. They've taken all the action away. Clarkson and Brown can't get loose, and Tennessee's pounding away on the glass. Tennessee dialed in right now, playing their best basketball of the season at the most important time.
Well, Tennessee hasn't trailed in over 3 games now. As we take a look at our one-on-one, this is where these teams are, Jimmy, basically, in the big picture.
Well, for Missouri, they're in the next 4 out, and our bracketologist Joe Lenardi is spot on in his evaluation of clubs right now, and Tennessee projected as one of the last 4 in. And if you're involved in that conversation at all, you know the pressure of this game, comparative head-to-head right now on the last regular season in March. This is what's at stake in this league. Florida have locked up a first-class seed as a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament with their beatdown of Kentucky today. Kentucky has slid from first class to business class to the back of the plane over the last month. They're still going to be in there somewhere around a 7-8 seed. And Arkansas is on the back of the plane, about a 10 or 11. They're in a tussle right now at Alabama, and Tennessee is holding on as well. Missouri's on that standby list. They are towards the front of that standby list. They could swap with Tennessee if they win today. If not, they slide back, and they have to make a deep run in Atlanta next week in that SEC tournament.
And mentioning Arkansas, right now they're trailing big time by double figs against Alabama. For those of you watching on ESPN Classic, we are now on ESPN. A look at some of the cogent numbers so far. Tennessee very efficient offensively. Missouri right now anyway at the other end of the spectrum. It's Tiger basketball inbounding underneath.
And the 3 baskets that Missouri's made, they've been hard, challenged, well-defended shots.
Clarkson out top.
There's that icing of the ball screen on the outer third of the floor. And Brown and Clarkson are being bothered by the length of the Tennessee defenders on the perimeter.
Wes Clark got upended on the jump shot, no call. And back comes Tennessee. Will Barton with the ball. Has been playing very good basketball. Antonio Barton. The other half of the Barton brothers.
Mark, it started a month ago.
I had the other one against Portland a couple days ago.
You did, yeah. It started about a month ago, mandatory 10 a.m. workouts with Antonio Barton and the Tennessee staff, teaching him to be a point guard. And that's not easy to do in a period of 3 or 4 weeks, but he has really grown.
And he's learned his lessons. Evidence right there with another 3-ball. He has been especially hot from downtown. He's made 13 of his last 23.
I'm not sure they taught him to be a point guard, but with that extra preparation comes a ton of confidence. You cannot fake confidence. It only comes through hard work, and Barton is starting to reap the rewards of it.
Clarkson out top. Lead is now 15 for Tennessee. Wes Clark with a deep 3 knocks it down. Hey, let's go back to Barton for a little bit. Well, how risky a move was that by Cuonzo Martin in taking your starting point guard out of the starting lineup for those several games? Do you risk losing him at all, Jimmy?
Absolutely you do, especially a kid that transferred here as a transfer senior from Memphis with 1 year to play. He could have easily dropped his head and gotten down on himself, but he didn't. He continued to fight, and now this Barton kid is a real key guy for Tennessee as we're into March.
Back out top to McCray. Plenty of time in the shot clock. Down to 22. Barton inside to Stokes. No double team coming by Missouri. That's how they've played it. And a clean block. Back the other way, the Tigers. Clarkson Jefferson with the Euro step and a blocking foul called against Armani Moore.
And that's what you can't let Missouri do. That is where they are at their best. Missouri in transition is outstanding. What Missouri is doing is waiting for Stokes to put the ball on the floor, and then they're scraping down and trying to bother him once he puts it on the deck. And now these three big guards from Missouri, I think that's when this club is at their best, and these three guards are at their best. They scored a high rate in transition. They get fouled at a high rate in transition. And if Tennessee can keep this a half-court game and keep Missouri out of their run game, they're going to win this game by double figures.
Clarkson knocks down the free throw to make it a 9-point game. Jabari Brown coming into the ball game 0 for 1 from the field, just a couple of points. And junior out of Oakland, one of the top players in the country, yet to catch fire, the Oregon transfer.
We've seen Missouri play man. We've seen them play 1-2-2 and a 2-3 zone. And Tennessee has kept the ball hot. They've gotten the ball to the third or fourth side of the floor several times. Good ball reversal. And Stokes has been a monster inside as a passer.
Richardson out top to McCray. Nice duck and move by Mayman. Barton underneath, had it blocked. Was Anthony Williams active defensively. Stokes with the floater.
He is so good as a putback offensive player. A putback off the glass. That time is a putback off of the loose ball. But he's shooting about 60% as a putback post. Outstanding numbers.
4 points and 7 rebounds for him. He's back up to double digits. Here's Brown trying to get free. And rejected by Stokes.
With that tough physical man-to-man defense with size, Tennessee just blowing up all the action in Missouri early in this game.
Floater a little bit short by Richardson, but a good look. There's Wes Clark. Yeah, the Volunteers getting back in transition defensively. That's one of the points of emphasis by Conzo Martin. Brown gets free for 3, and it rims out.
The other thing that Tennessee is dialed in this game, Missouri, their perimeter guys are all dominant right-handed drivers, dominant right-handed scorers, forcing them to go left, forcing them to go to their weak paw.
Mayman inside, Stokes. Boy, moved his defender, got the rebound. Darnell Stokes in beast mode underneath. Mayman draws the foul. They are just relentlessly pounding Missouri on the boards.
Well, Jarnell Stokes is doing what he does best and doing what he does best as well as anyone in the country. This is what he's doing on the season. I think this is very interesting. He's below a 40% shooter in true post-ups. That's not what his strength is. But from that point on, 62% on putbacks and 69% field goal shooter off of cutting action. That tells you that's a guy with great hands. He moves his 260 pounds very well, and he is lethal when you can't double-team him as an offensive rebounder and a cutter in the scoring action.
Tennessee already with 9 offensive rebounds in this ball game. One thing that Jarnell Stokes has done well this year, Jimmy, as Mayman knocks down the first of 2 free throws. For the most part, he stayed out of foul trouble. That was a big part of his issue last year, right?
Talking about Stokes, absolutely. Yeah. He stayed out of foul trouble, and he's getting fouled at a high rate. Think about this. As a cutter, he's scoring at a 69% clip. He gets fouled 37% of the time as a cutter. That's a big body that's getting himself to the free throw stripe. He's in terrific shape, down to about 8% body fat. He's deserving of everything he's getting right now in this league.
Gotta keep Butch Jones, the football coach, from sniffing around him.
Big tight end running down the seam, huh?
Williams hands it off to Brown. Brown still without his first field goal, and we're under 4 minutes to go here in the first half. Nice pass by Ross inside, and a traveling violation against Williams.
Tennessee playing like that team that we saw way back in December that sent the ACC champion Virginia Cavaliers out of here down 35.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5-Hour Energy. Focus is the feeling of clarity and alertness. It's the feeling you get from 5-Hour Energy. And in part by the 2014 Mazda 3 with seamless connectivity. And Charles Schwab. Own your tomorrow.
Welcome to Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy on Senior Day in Knoxville. This is the SEC on ESPN. I'm Mark Jones courtside along with Jimmy Dykes. Pivotal game for Missouri and Tennessee on the bubble. Right now the ball is leading by 13. Their three-point shooting, one of the major storylines so far.
Yeah, and Missouri's lack of three-point defense continues to haunt them in this league, giving up about 36%, almost 8 per game. And it's hard to figure because they have 3 6'5" guards that should be challenging shots. Tennessee has moved the ball well. Charnell Stokes already with 3 assists in this ball game, and it's different guys knocking them down. But the primary weapon, Antonio Barton and Armani Moore. Those two guys are combined 4 out of 6 from the three-point line. And boy, Tennessee right now clicking on all cylinders.
Balls to inbound. They got Richardson, Barton, McCray back in the ball game. Mayman and Stokes.
Can Missouri get back-to-back stops and back-to-back baskets? Normally I talk about that in the second half. They're in a spot right now to close out this half that they have to have a run like that.
Boy, Barton in rhythm right now. That jumper is wet. His third 3 of the ball game. Yeah, that expression says it all. Biggest lead of the ball game for the Volunteers at 16.
Well, he's not the biggest guy, so you have to run good action for him at 6'2". And again, off a ball reversal is when those shots are going to come.
Brown still without a field goal. The leading scorer at about 20 points a game for Missouri. Clark, the freshman, missing. Rosberg, pardon me. That's Keanu Post battling underneath with the putback. Down to 14. 3 minutes to go in the first half. Tennessee getting good looks against this Missouri zone for the most part, though, Jimmy.
And some of that has to do with Missouri's zone. Just really not alert, not alive, not active, no sense of urgency on a Saturday afternoon that there should be a great deal of urgency in every possession. You are playing for your NCAA life right now.
A great look by Stokes, but McCray couldn't find the handle on it.
I talked about Tennessee's ability to get ball reversal and the ball to the third side of the floor. 2 possessions to go. Antonio Barton is going to start up top right here. He's on the first side of the floor, and the ball's going to get reversed away from him, and he slides up, and a little cutting action up top frees up Antonio Barton as a 6'1" shooter. He has to get good, clean looks. He's a shooter off of action, not a guy that's going to make a lot of guarded shots. But when he gets the ball on the third side of the floor, that's good for Tennessee.
Lonzo Martin, we talked about it a little bit earlier if you were with us. Took him out of the starting lineup for several games and then had him do some early morning skill work, some shooting work, taught him how to become a point guard all over again. And it's really reaped a lot of dividends here late in the season.
Short clock, McCray with length can make a guarded shot or get one off if he has to.
Richardson on the drive, draws the foul. And he's going to go to the free throw line.
That is a great play by Jordan McCray. He caught the ball at 7. He got his eyes on the shot clock quickly, tried to maneuver himself into a shot, and had the presence to make a very good pass under the pressure of the shot clock.
And Richardson going to go to the free throw line. Josh Richardson, an 82% free throw shooter on the season.
What was Frank Haith's first words to you and I about an hour and a half before tip? Can we get rebounds in this game? So far, the answer is no. Tennessee with 10 offensive rebounds. Missouri has 11 total. That is hard to overcome, especially on the road.
Rebounding, a lot to do with energy, and it was interesting that Frank Haith blew off shoot-around this morning. Thought it would be more important coming off that tough game against Texas A&M and losing an hour there on Central Time. Their bodies and biorhythms are anyway. He thought it would be more important for his team to get some rest. 33-17. 2.5 minutes to go here in the first half.
What is Missouri's best offense in this first half? We don't know, and Frank Haith doesn't know yet. He hasn't found anything of weakness that he can attack. Sometimes it's Clarkson off of the ball screen. Tennessee says no. Sometimes it's Jabari Brown moving as a shooter. Tennessee has said no.
Rosberg carves out some space underneath to get the bucket. As he pointed out earlier, every basket, every field goal, very well, hard-earned and contested.
Is this a game that Missouri has to go inside and try to attack what is not really a tall, lot of depth front line of Tennessee?
Tough step back, good. Bucket by Jordan McCray. He's got 8. 35-19. inside pin down.
Look at that force left. That's a great example of what Tennessee is doing to all those perimeter players. Not letting them go to work with that right hand.
And an offensive foul going to go against Clarkson. He pushed off with that left arm. That's his first. Well, Tennessee with the lead, and let's go to at halftime. Florida stays perfect in the SEC. Wiggins went for over 40, but it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, congratulations those Florida 4 seniors today. If I could be anywhere today in the country to see Senior Day, at Florida might be my first choice. At Louisville with Russ Smith and company would be terrific. And again, you know, Creighton tonight with Doug McDermott. Some really cool seniors experiencing Senior Day today.
Richardson with a baseline jump shot. Jimmy, you bring up a good point, man. Senior Day is sometimes understated. It's a really emotionally charged game that you've been through.
Yeah, well, I have. Actually, my head coach tried to get me to talk me into Senior Day my sophomore year. I wouldn't have any part of that. I'm sticking around. You can't talk me out of here that quick.
What was he saying to you?
This is time for you to go. Jerron Mayman is the voice of Tennessee. We followed him for about an hour before the tip with a camera. And his voice, this Tennessee team follows his voice. A tough guy playing on bad wheels, but his energy, his emotion, his passion, his will to win drives Tennessee behind the scenes.
That motor's running right now. Tennessee with the lead when we come back. Everyone, 37-19. Last couple of games, we talked about it. Antonio Barton has been on fire from downtown. And as kids like to say, he got back in the lab with early morning shooting practice and skill work with coaching staff.
Mark, remember, he was an off-the-bench guy for his career at Memphis, and he could kind of hide behind Joe Jackson if he played well, good. If he didn't play well, that was okay. He could kind of hide. Then he's thrust into a starting spot, so there's a lot of dynamics for a guy like that to work through in 1 year.
McCray left it a little bit short. Barton with a tip. Almost got it to go. Stokes battling underneath. And it'll come back the other way. Missouri basketball with 5.5. Jimmy, a lot of time. Who do they go to here? What do they run, do you think?
Jordan Clarkson is the guy that can get it all the way to the rim in 5 dribbles if he can find a crease.
Here he is. Clarkson on the move, and a foul.
Good foul
by McCray.
Missouri not in the bonus yet.
Had one to give. That's just the second foul on him.
There isn't any area that Tennessee, from a player standpoint and a coaching standpoint, that they are not on top of in this game. To communicate that to your guys, and at the other end of the floor, Conzo Martin did it. And now Missouri has even a shorter clock to work with at 2.6.
Jabari Brown, the team's leading scorer, still without a field goal in this game.
You better tag Brown here. He can make a guarded shot because of his size.
He'll try to lob it inside. Post. Boy, it got to him, but he should have caught it. Could not get the handle on that nice inbound pass. And Stokes punctuates the first half with some good hustle, getting on the deck and the loose ball.
You can call me Will. You can call me Antonio. Right now, just call me into the locker room with a 37-19 lead, right?
You got it. 37-19. A lot of pressure on both teams. And Chris Carter, as they say, pressure makes diamonds, and pressure busts pipes. Right now, Tennessee, 18 carat, as we go back for the Mazda halftime report.
Thank you, Mark. Jimmy, Mazda halftime report. No pressure on me today at all because I got Seth Greenberg next to me. It's going to be an easy day. Not so much for Kentucky at the O'Connell Center on Senior Day, taking on the #1 team in the country. And, Coach, they played like it.
They play like they have 4 starting seniors. Great extra pass right there. This team has great team trust.
Kentucky would make a run in the second half here. Julius Randle, nice little spin move right here. Beautiful move in the lay-in. Kentucky down 8 at that point. But, Coach, too much Florida here. Will you get Beautiful move here.
Great job right there. Casey Prater taking the ball by the ball screen, drops the dime. That is Florida basketball. Unselfish basketball. They had 20 assists.
This is also Florida basketball right here. Unbeaten in SEC play, 18-0, wrapping up the regular season. And you can see the last 4 teams in the last 15 seasons to do that, so it hasn't been done very often. This Florida team, we talk about some of the #1 seeds, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But what makes Florida special, even when compared to some of the other potential #1 seeds?
Well, they play with great confidence, but they play with no ego. They really do trust each other. You talk about embracing roles and defining roles and championing roles, and that's what Florida basketball is all about. Everyone plays to their strengths. They've got great team trust, and each and every night, a different guy can step up and make a play. And 4 starting seniors, they're a group of grown men.
When you talk about upperclassmen with Florida, and then we talk about some youngsters here with Kansas. Visiting West Virginia, that's one of them right there, Andrew Wiggins. We'll get to his game in a little bit. But West Virginia, Coach, they may be the best team not to go to the dance.
Evan Williams right there. He had his high game of the season in the first half. No Joel Embiid. He attacked the basket. He had 16 in the first half.
They were up 10, West Virginia was, but Andrew Wiggins.
5% shot right there.
Look at that. I mean, just the high riser.
Don't say Michael Jordan, please.
I wasn't about to do that. His game is certainly starting to pick up here, but second half, West Virginia, this 3 by Remy Debo puts them up 20 points, and then they have one of the best, most underrated backcourts in the country, don't they?
Juwan State and Aaron Harris, they were terrific today. 52 points. You're talking about a Kansas team that could not defend the ball at the point of attack.
Andrew Wiggins sort of helped key a little run here by Kansas. They got it to within 10, 12 points. He had 41, and then as you can see at the end, it was a little bit closer, but West Virginia pulls off the huge upset there. And look at Andrew Wiggins and the rest of this Kansas team. He is really putting them on his shoulders, but it wasn't enough on this day.
If I'm Bill Self, I'm excited that Andrew Wiggins kind of imposed his will on the game offensively and defensively. And everyone looks at the 41 points. I'm more excited that Andrew Wiggins was aggressive defensively, challenged shots, got out in passing lanes, but the rest of the team needs to get on his shoulders.
Fred VanVleet, Conference Player of the Year, hoping to keep his Shockers perfect in the Valley Tournament here against Missouri State. Cleanthony Early is going to drive, eventually gets to Cale Cotton.
Great extra pass right there. This perimeter of Wichita State is as good as any in the country. And you talk about pressure, 31 in a row. They're not playing like there's any pressure.
Look at Cotton with the block, eventually gets it to Cleanthony. No problem. And Wichita State hammers Missouri State to remain unbeaten. Early had 20 points in this one. Here's a couple of scores. One final, Villanova. They continue to truck along, and Arizona at Oregon with
Arizona has reinvented themselves after Brandon Ashley's injury. They're playing as well as anyone in the country. Florida and Arizona, 2 best in the land.
When we talk about #1 seed, you just saw that Villanova score right there, beating Georgetown. Right now, they've kind of quietly been sneaking up 4-3-2, and now Lenardi has them as a #1 seed.
So long as you don't have to play Creighton, they're in pretty good shape. But watch out for Virginia. They win the ACC tournament, they could end up at #1.
All right, when Coach and I come back here on the Mazda Halftime Report, we're going to talk about the American. Looks like we have the standings solved. What about Player of the Year? Is that still
flip a coin?
All right, we'll flip a coin and talk about it.
back to the Mazda Halftime Report.
Carter Greenberg, Mazda Halftime Report. Let's go to the American. Coach Pitino in Louisville taking on UConn. And boy, one player has really emerged in the last month or so, and that's Montrezl Harrell.
Montrezl Harrell, he runs the floor as well as any player in the country. It's almost like he's running the floor downhill offensively.
And then this guy right here, Russ Smith, went off scoring the other night against SMU. Today it was all about passing the ball.
He had 6 threes against SMU. Tonight, 12 assists. He was Russ Danielus.
Montrezl Harrell with 20 points himself. Louisville just hammers UConn on the day. So they're atop the American, but so is Cincinnati. They beat Rutgers today, so it's a tie between these two teams.
I just got a text from Mick Cronin. They won the coin flip. Cincinnati will be the #1 seed.
Coin flip?
Got to have a coin flip.
All right, that's how they do it.
You call heads and tails? I don't know.
Cincinnati's #1. Louisville's #2 in the American tournament coming up. Memphis beats SMU, as you can see. Let's go to the Big 12. Really fun game to watch between Oklahoma State and Iowa State. Waning seconds here. Phil Forte, one of the best free throw shooters in America, misses. So Oklahoma State is only up 3. Iowa State with a chance to tie.
To foul or not to foul? I think you got to foul in that situation. If you don't foul, you got to check someone and contest a shot.
You don't foul. Naz Long might bury the 3 like he did. We go into overtime. Great defense there on DeAndre Kane, but he gets it back.
Great job of Kane staying with the play, collecting himself, and finishing it. This game was a great win for Iowa State. They played without Niang and Edgem at the end.
Yeah, both of them had fouled out, as did Marcus Smart in this one. St. John's and Marquette. This one also close. 9 seconds left in regulation. Marquette down 2. Todd Mayo.
Great job, execution. Dribble hand up to that little bump at the top. Mayo finishes. That's what Marquette has been missing, a guy that can make plays down the stretch.
So we go into overtime, and here you can see game waning seconds, and to your point, they could not finish, could not convert.
You got to get downhill. You got to not settle and shoot a jump shot. And the Fighting Steve Lavins, they're alive. And alive on the bubble. What do they do in overtime, in the second overtime?
Look at this bomb by D'Angelo Harrison. I mean, that is from Sheboygan, Wisconsin out there. Ties the game in double overtime. Down 1, Marquette with one final shot, and they can't get the game winner.
They get a good look, but can't finish in a huge win for St. John's. The Big East Tournament in Madison Square Garden, you've got 3 teams playing for a bid.
And you can see St. John's is squarely on that bubble with the big win on the road at Marquette. Alabama hammering Arkansas right now. It's another team, Arkansas, on the bubble. They can't afford to get a big road loss like that. Stanford squeaks by Utah. Clemson taking care of Pitt.
Clemson trying to play their way in.
Back with more Mazda Halftime after this.
This halftime report is presented by Mazda. Conviction, creativity, courage. This is the Mazda way. This halftime report is presented by Mazda. Conviction, creativity, courage. This is the Mazda way.
Nick Stauskas could be the Big Ten Player of the Year on the Big Ten Champs. Michigan coming up in a little bit more than an hour's time, immediately following our game. It's Michigan and Indiana. Coach, what do you think about the game tonight on ESPN?
I think Duke rebounds the ball, does a better job against that 1-3-1 lane zone, and they find a way to win in Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Game day will be there. Enjoy the second half from Tennessee.
Welcome back, everyone, to Saturday Showcase, presented by 5 Hour Energy. From Knoxville, Tennessee, this is the SEC on ESPN. In a packed house tonight, the Volunteers leading 37-19 as we go forward here in the second half. Mark Jones courtside along with Jimmy Dykes. Jimmy, anytime that you're strong in the backcourt at the 1 and at the 5, good things happen, and Barton taking care of business in the first half.
Yeah, this has been all about Tennessee on the defensive end of the floor. First of all, think about this. Tennessee's won 4 out of their last 5 ball games. In their last 4 games, teams are averaging 20 points in the first half. That's how locked in they are. That's how good their scouting report defense has been and their execution. They have been a juggernaut so far defensively in this game. On the other end of the floor, Antonio Barton has succeeded because of his confidence, his extra time that he's put in over the last 30 days or so. He's knocking down good-looking threes. He's getting good assists from Jarnell Stokes and from Josh Richardson. Tennessee's really moving the ball. Barton, you see what he's done as a three-point shooter. Stokes, you can't kind of put sometimes numbers on his game because he carves out space and moves people around on the floor with his big body. But you're right, the 1 and the 5 right now in this game are dominating.
As we take a look at the Tennessee competitive edge in the game, presented by Principal Financial Group. And ready now for the start of the second half. Just like their previous game, Missouri with a little bit of a climb here in the second half. They faced against Texas A&M. They had to work hard to defeat them at home a couple of nights ago. But this is a talented Tiger team, certainly capable of coming back, and that's going to be a traveling against Clarkson.
Just cannot get into any kind of rhythm can Missouri on the offensive end. How good has Tennessee's defense been? When you look at the numbers, Missouri has shot 31% in the first half. They've only been to the free throw strike 4 times. Tennessee defending without fouling. They only had 6 personal fouls in the first 20 minutes. Can't get much better than that.
Here's Stokes. Faces up on Rosberg, a little bit strong, and rebounded by Ross. Larry Brown had a quiet first half, and he turns it over. Barton with the steal on the move, and he misses the layup. Up and down they go. Clarkson with a tough left-handed move inside, and one of the few times today, Jimmy, the Tigers have gotten out in transition.
They have to. They have to get double-figure points in the second half out of their transition game if they have any shot. If it stays half court and Missouri can't run with the 3 guards, Tennessee's going to win this thing by 20 points or more.
Gray with a nice give and go. Stokes inside.
There he is, scoring as a cutter. About 70% from the field is what Jarnell Stokes converts when he's scoring as a cutter. They move him around so well instead of locking him in as a load on the low block.
Williams on the dribble handoff to Ernest Ross. Ross had it blocked. McCray, great defense, but he gave it right back. Clarkson inside. Williams slipped. Tigers might have even overpassed a little bit that time. It'll be their ball out of bounds.
Mark, I think the length of Tennessee defensively makes teams overpass. They're not making the right pass. They're making the extra pass on that possession, which is not the right thing. When you can switch out really at the 1 through 4 spot, especially those 3 guards with length.
And a 5-second violation. Sorry, Jim.
That length again, it's tough, making it very difficult for Frank Hayes' team to get anything going offensively. I'm talking anything.
Like last year, in the season closer, Missouri taking on Tennessee. They lost that game 75-70 a season ago. And here's Barton up court. These teams on the bubble. According to our Joe Lenardi, we documented where at the top of the show. Here's Stokes squaring up. Shooting with confidence, but a little bit strong. And Brown back the other way. To Ross, had it partially tipped by McCray. Got one of those long arms on it, but Rosberg underneath battling, and he's got 4 now.
Yeah, that's that reach factor that Tennessee can throw at you defensively. And we've seen the reach factor by Richardson, McCray scoring around the rim through traffic. A long, physical defensive ball club in white on their home floor.
Here's McCray with a tough contested shot. Brown with the pull.
And now the transition game for Missouri is in place.
Nice look inside. And a foul going to be called on Jordan McCray. That's going to be his 3rd with 17:25 to go. And up quickly off the bench, there's Armani Moore.
Mark, I keep talking about Missouri's transition game and why you have to keep them out of it. They throw up some really good numbers this year. And if they're going to get back in this ball game, they're going to have to get 10 or 12 points off of their transition game. The remaining 7:25 of this second half.
I sense that at the start of the second half here, Missouri has gathered themselves and mentally really tuned in here. Lead down to 15 points. And I defend the move by Frank Hayes this morning of not having a shoot around. You know, I speak to a lot of NBA consultants. They have sleep coaches on staff that say sometimes at this point of the season, whether it's college or pro, you're better off letting your team rest and stay off their feet, especially coming up to a big game like this.
Absolutely. They worked their tail off yesterday before they left Columbia, then came here last night and had another shoot around. They're prepared and dialed in. They're just up against a better team right now on their home floor on senior night.
Stokes into the paint.
One of the few times that you just isolate him on the low block and let him go to work. If you're going to scrape down on Stokes when he bounces the ball, you better scrape down when he bounces the ball.
Ross back to Williams, fires away from the wing. Boy, what a rebound by Moore.
Aren't they physical? I mean, I go back to my days as a college coach, back when you could actually go scout in person, and those are the kind of things you pick up on that you don't pick up off the video, how physical the team is.
Yeah, and a great drive by Barton. Yeah, stats and analytics don't always tell you about effort.
No resistance by Tennessee on Barton.
Brown still trying to get on track offensively. Clarkson with the quick stare-down jumper, no good, and one and done. 18-point lead for Tennessee, looking for their 20th win of the season. Barton off the high ball screen. Great hesitation move. Naaman says, look what I found. It's been that type of afternoon for Gonzo Martin's team.
He makes so many plays, John Naaman does, because he cares. He simply cares. That's a very simple statement, but you'd be shocked at how many coaches would say these are the number of guys that really care.
Richardson on the steal, and one!
In a game that mattered, an opening tip, a game filled with pressure. Last 4 in, first 4 out. Winner's going to slide up in Jimmy D's jet. Tennessee says, I want that seat and a better seat with leg room. Well done so far by the Volunteers. Well done.
A special afternoon here in Knoxville, Tennessee. The Volunteers leading it by 22 points on senior day. McCray and Maiman, a couple of key cogs for this Volunteer team over the last several years. And the fans appreciative of the effort and a chance to say thanks both ways. And some very proud families, moms and dads. There's Drawn, Naaman's family. See Dad there laughing up. Yeah, there's a smile on his face. Why not? The McCrays as well. Proud parents on this afternoon.
Mark, Tennessee's sending a message. They're sending a message to the selection committee. They're sending a message to the SEC in terms of the tournament next week. I mean, who's the team that can jump up and cause Florida the most problems? We might be looking at them right now.
Gonzo Martin has a pretty good record against Billy Donovan all time. I think it's 3-2. He's 3-0 going into the season. And Stokes posted up. He's a problem underneath.
And you can't let anybody come down on the initial push of the basketball and have a deep post touch right in front of the rim and play behind. You can, but you're going to be behind 49-25 when those things happen.
Darnell Stokes, Jimmy, with another double-double, 10 points, 10 rebounds. That's the 18th of the season for him. Clarkson off the mark, rebounded by the Vols. Right now, large and in charge, under 15 minutes to go. And leading by 24. I'm not sure many people would have predicted this at this juncture of the game. Turnover, good hustle by Jones, and he slams it home. Hustle by Torian Jones.
Mark, a lazy pass by Darius Thompson. Walked the ball up before with not much life about you, and then a slow developing pass to the elbow. You're just saying, go down and dunk on it.
Jones obliging. He was a key part of that comeback win. Struggle against Texas A&M. Stokes posted up on the block, going to work. Nice kick out to Moore. And he left it short. Foul underneath, going to go against Tennessee. Well, ESPN's Journey to the Tourney features an ACC showdown. Marcus Page and the Tar Heels taking on Jabari Parker and the Blue Devils. The Journey to the Tourney. North Carolina Duke tonight at 9 on ESPN. Also live on Watch ESPN. Parker averaging almost 19 and 9 a game. Marcus Page 17 to go along with about 5 assists per game. Heyman back on the bench. That was his foul a moment ago, his first. We saw it last year, Jimmy. Even though he didn't play, he was as you say, a big voice. He was like an extra member of the coaching staff for this volunteer team.
Absolutely. He cares. I mean, that's a great description of Jerron Mayman. You can describe any player like that, and you got a shot to be in any ball game.
Ari Brown traveled with it. Been a rough afternoon for the leading scorer out of Oakland. Let's look at their respective positions.
And not good for Missouri. They're going to go from the next 4 out to the next 4 out after that, and then it's very, very difficult to make up ground over 7 or 8 teams and play your way into teams that are already in.
Although, how much is that win by West Virginia today against Kansas help?
It would have helped them a ton if Missouri could have capitalized on it with a win here to Tennessee. They had a chance today to have a big game, but they have not defended a lick. Tennessee has moved the ball, they've moved people, they've hard cut, and Darnell Stokes as a passer, Stokes now is a phenomenal weapon dealing with this Tennessee half-court offense.
Got 4 assists already. Here's Clark. Frank Haith calls out the half-court set. Post with a dribble handoff. Clarkson off the screen. Nice dime inside and post finishes. Well run and great execution on the call by Haith. Oh, they're extending their defense a little bit. So Barton handling the pressure well. Barton with the pull-up. Boy, he got downhill. And that smile says it all. He's reeling in a big one today. They might have caught a big fish and an important win at a great time.
Marjarnell Stokes has been a passer today from the low block. He's been a passer from the elbow, and a couple of possessions ago, he's a mid-post passer. And you cannot double-team or scrape down when he's at the mid-post. Hold it here. Because of where all the defenders are stretched out around this three-point line, that middle drive is opened up. So if you try to scrape down on a mid-post passer, boom, there's no rim protection, and that's an easy cut and finish. So because Tennessee can move Stokes around and trust him as a low block passer, a short corner passer, an elbow or mid-post passer, he keeps the defense off balance, and his passing has gone through the roof the last couple of weeks.
They added another variable to this Tennessee offense. Ross to Clarkson. Refused the screen. Here's Ross. Quiet afternoon for Ernest Ross. Clark on the drive and just got it over Moore for the bucket. He's got 5.
And that play is all on Barton. I mean, a shot fake. Barton, he's not going to block his shot. Leaves his feet, sails completely out of the play, and lets Clark get to the rim.
Barton off the down screen. Right to Moore. Well, I don't know if he gets an assist for that. You could stretch it and say that it was 8 for Moore. Heyman and McCray getting set to check back into the ball game. 2 of 4 seniors playing their final game. A whistle and foul going to be called, as Clarkson will go to the free throw line for a pair. Foul's going to go against Reese. Were these guys crunk, amped up? Oh, they caught a big one today.
They may need a bigger boat. Size they're reeling in right now.
Well, one of the greatest rivalries in all of sports. Headlines tonight's college basketball doubleheader. First at 6. Wolverines host conference foe Indiana. Then at 9. North Carolina Duke Part 2. Saturday primetime presented by DirecTV. Both games also live on Watch ESPN. And Carolina has caught fire of late.
Well, they have. Marcus Page has been terrific. I found it really interesting. Duke has only allowed 117 made threes this year. Fewest in the nation. How about that? Talk about how well they shoot the three-point shot, but they understand the importance of it, so they pressure you and take it away from you as well. And how about Jabari Brown in this ball game? The leading scorer in the SEC, has been in double figures in all 30 games this season for Missouri. Jabari Brown 0 for 5, 2 points. Tennessee says, we know what your best strength is. We're going to take that away. That's what good defensive ball clubs can do.
Now a little full court pressure by the Tigers. Barton finds wide open teammate down court for an easy deuce. He's got 5. Reese, easy one, and Brown still without a field goal after that miss. One thing about Jabari Brown, he's got that Oakland swag. You will never see that stoic expression change. You can't tell whether he's playing well or whether he's playing poorly.
Absolutely. I've had ball games where he's had 28, 30 points, and he looks just like he does now. A quiet toughness about him, having a miserable day because of Tennessee's defense, their length, they're down into the action, not letting him get loose.
25-point Tennessee lead. McRae out top. Tough step back 3. Tennessee going to get another possession here off the hustle.
Tennessee getting right at 50% on the offensive glass on their missed shots. Their 13th offensive rebound in this ball game.
Reese out top. Gray on the post up. Clark dropped a little bit, didn't draw the call, out of bounds off the miss. And it's going to be volunteer basketball. Things just bouncing their way. Rosberg going to come into the ball game for post.
Tennessee just the much more physical team on both ends of the floor. We talk about that defensively. You watch Tennessee when they set screens. It's a white jersey, bam, head-hunting screen, black jerseys, laying the wood to them. They set the rules early in this game how it's going to be played. We're going to be playing like grown men. Can you match that? Missouri so far has not.
That's the mantra, the credo, a tougher breed. And a tough shot by Barton. He's got 16. Leading scorer in the ball game. Clark with a little get back. Timeout called by Frank Haith. With 9:50 to go, we're going to stay right here. Barton continues to show improved three-point shooting. That's been the trend over the last 3 games for him.
Barton, it's just really good movement. Just a little scissor cut action off of the post-entry pass to Maiman. And all they did was switch the guards and kind of replace each other. Tennessee's not standing. They have not guarded themselves one time in this ball game. Missouri has guarded themselves some, and when they have not, Tennessee's been taking everything away. What I like about Tennessee right now is how dialed in they have been, not just in this ball game, but the last couple of weeks when I've watched them play. They hammered Vanderbilt in this building last Saturday. They went on the road and beat Auburn by 28. They are playing their way, I think, safely into the NCAA tournament, where other teams are playing their way out. Arkansas right now on the road is being smoked right now by Alabama. They have played their way in, and right now they got a chance to be playing their way out. Tennessee says no. We are making a statement on the last season in regular conference play.
Tennessee poised for a run in the conference tournament. If Georgia loses, Tennessee could still possibly get a number 3 seed in the upcoming conference tournament.
That is critical because you stay away from Florida until you get to the finals.
Here's Barton out top. Gray off the screen. 10 on the shot clock for Richardson now. 5 on the clock. They got to get to work. Richardson for 3. Rebounded by Williams. Meanwhile, Missouri obviously going to have a few days to regroup and do the game plan going into the tournament. This is still a very talented Missouri team that has a chance to make a really significant run in the SEC tournament. Whenever you've got guys like Brown and Clarkson and Ross, a potent trio that can score, you always got a more than a puncher's chance.
I can talk about again Tennessee's transition defense, their ability to take Missouri's strength away has been a huge part of this ballgame. How they've covered up any drag screen action, how alert they've been, stepping out, switching, hedging, leveling guys off.
Clarkson with a wild shot underneath, couldn't finish.
There was again in transition in the secondary break, making them play in a crowd.
Gray missed the layup, picked up by Reese, no good, and up and down they go. going to be a foul against Reese, and overzealous effort that time. That's his second personal.
Yeah, the ball finds energy, and Tennessee's had the energy. This is what I'm talking about. Watch Tennessee's transition defense. They understand they're up against a team that can really put it on you quickly. There's the 2 drag screens I'm talking about. Now hold it here, boom. Look at the switch out right there by Reese. Just says, okay, I've got it. We've communicated loud, early, and constant. I'm going to level this thing off. Everybody gets rematched, and now Missouri has nothing to go to in their half-court offense. That transition defense, you must do it because Missouri in their transition offense averages 1.15 points per play. They shoot 56% from the field. They get fouled at a free throw rate of 24%. Tennessee has taken those numbers away from Missouri in this game.
There's Brown still looking, Jimmy, for his first field goal. They've ground him to a halt today offensively. 0 for 7 now from the field.
Cannot score through size on the perimeter that Tennessee's throwing out.
Stokes going to work against post. Took his time, good patience, and it pays off.
Mark, again, the straight down, the double down in Missouri in this ballgame on Stokes has been when he's put the ball on the floor. That's too late. His then powerful wide base as a dribbler takes over.
Going to be a blocking foul against Moore, his third.
Here's what I'm talking about with Stokes. He's going to catch the ball in the low block, I believe, on this replay. The defense comes down after he starts dribbling. He's going to own that play every time because how powerful he is from the waist down with a crab dribble. Every time.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5 Hour Energy. Focus is the feeling of clarity and alertness. It's the feeling you get from 5 Hour Energy. And in part by the Lexus Command Performance Sales Event. Now through March 31st. See your Lexus dealer.
Chris Conner and Coach Greenberg in studio. You heard Jimmy Dykes talking about it. Arkansas maybe playing their way out of the tournament. Here's Retno Basahan, Coach.
Playing on the road, I don't care who you're playing against, not easy. Not a good time to get blown out to a team 150 and below.
Yeah, and Alabama certainly is that. How about Oregon hanging tough right now against Arizona out in Eugene? Coming up, Michigan and Indiana. It'll be senior day at Chrysler Arena. 28 minutes time, they'll tip it up. Back to Mark and Jimmy.
All right, Jimmy, there's a look at our bracketologist Joe Lenardi's predictions so far and projections. Arkansas this year did make some major headway in terms of road victories in conference play, but a bad time to stumble today.
Yeah, it is. And so now they're going to have to get work done next week in Atlanta. More than just one win. Probably that second win, I think, would still lock up a berth for the Razorbacks with a good neutral 4 win over Minnesota, good win over SMU, win over Clemson, swept Kentucky. Not what you want on the last Saturday in regular season play on the road.
Barry Brown at the foul line, still without a field goal. 3 points now after that foul shot. Brown, a 80% foul shooter on the season. Had 20 points in that win against Texas A&M a few nights ago. full court pressure and a trap, but broken by the Vols. Whistle and a foul against Missouri. It's going to go against Jones, the freshman.
Mark, I think Kansas today with the loss, although it was without Embiid. In Kansas, Duke, Syracuse, all those teams talking about playing your way in and out. They played their way out in terms of the #1 seed in that NCAA tournament. I think it's now Villanova or Wisconsin that will join Arizona, Florida, and Wichita State.
Stokes with a big slam.
He has a lot of life in his body. He's had a lot of life all season long. He's not wearing down like he did his first couple of years here because of all the work that he's put in.
Off the curl, Brown back to Clark. Another contested jumper, no good this time by Clark. And Maimon clears. 7 rebounds. Ron Maimon, the transfer years ago from Marquette.
You could put together about a 4-hour tape, back-to-back plays of how many rebounds Stokes and Maimon just get below the rim because of how strong they box out on every play. It's fascinating for me to watch two guys that don't have a lot of lift dominate the backboard.
Which does. Stokes drives again to the bucket and took a big hit. And his teammates en masse run to his aid and help him up. Post with a foul on the play, his third. Takes a lot of force to knock that guy down.
And I talked about Stokes as a cutter. He scores about 69% of the time, and again, his ability to get to the free throw stripe as a cutter is very impressive. He gets there at a 37% free throw rate off of cutting action. Because again, when he takes a hit, defenders bounce off of him, he gets to the free throw stripe.
Stokes an improved free throw shooter this year at 68%. Now the first of 2.
Tennessee's man-to-man defense has been so good. Konzo hasn't had to go to his 1-3-1 lifted zone or his 2-3. He's just said, you know what? Our guys are better than your guys. Man-to-man, we're going to take you on, and they've done it.
His second 21 season. This is his 3rd year in Knoxville.
I've heard some crazy things this year in college basketball.
Which isn't new.
No, and some of it comes from me, to be honest about it. But I will say this. It's crazy talk for pressure to be on Konzo Martin at Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't get that one either.
Not at all. Not at all. You look at other coaches across the country that are into their 3rd year into a program, and the numbers that Konzo has had, his team will be in the NCAA tournament this year unless just something crazy happens. It is beyond me how any type of a fan base could get any type of groundswell of support against Konzo Martin right now. You agree or disagree?
No, I agree. Yeah. I agree with you. I wonder where that ghost criticism comes from sometimes, but such is the world these days with social media and other platforms.
I mean, does this look like an arena that's down on the head coach and down on their team?
Tell you what, he's certainly done a lot and building it the right way seemingly here. Former play at Purdue for Gene Cady, a former assistant coach there from 2000 to 2008. Former professional player, collegiate player, former head coach at Southwest Missouri State. Won the conference championship there. Drive and kick. McCray is going to throw it back out to Maimon. Richardson on the wing. Maimon cross court. Reese going to tee it up. Maimon battling, but Post wins that one.
Well, Missouri's going to have to go back to Columbia and find themselves and find their neutral floor game to carry to Atlanta next week. I don't know if they have to win the SEC tournament, but I tell you what, they're going to have to go really deep. And you're trying to make up ground now on 7 or 8 teams. I think at the minimum an appearance in that SEC finals, and that's a 10-second count.
Thompson a little bit too cavalier, taking it across midcourt. Well, folks, it's a full day of conference championships and women's hoops Sunday on ESPN. First at 1, Big Ten championship. Then at 3:30, the SEC championship tipping off. Hey, Kentucky taking on the Lady Vols. And at 7, ACC championship gets underway, and at 9 we ended up with the Pac-12 championship. Championship week presented by Dick's Sporting Goods, Sunday at 1 on ESPN. All games live on Watch ESPN. Jimmy Dykes, I hope there's no plane delays for you this weekend home, and get a chance to watch some of those games.
No,
back
it's
at
all
the crib.
good. Yeah. Kentucky with Matthew Mitchell taking on Tennessee. What a job he's done putting that Kentucky women's program into a top 10 team. Seems like every year right now. I mean, Tennessee has gone to the 1-3-1 just to bother Missouri a little bit more. Tennessee, Kentucky, South Carolina on that women's side in the SEC.
What about the job that Dawn Staley's done this year? Once again,
tremendous.
South Carolina.
Tremendous. The young lady has used a lot of energy in that program. They get knocked out in the semis today, but that's a tough league. That's a league that, from a football standpoint, if you join that league as a coach, you're joining the very best. From a basketball standpoint, when you join the SEC on the women's side, you're joining the very best.
Well, life on the bubble for both Tennessee and Missouri. This is where our Joe Lunardi has them projected right now.
Well, Tennessee was trending well early, then they took a dip, and Missouri jumped up there. Now they're kind of battling it out, and still pretty even, and now Missouri drops. Tennessee kind of flatlined a little bit. And after today, Tennessee, they're going to do this, and Missouri is going to do this. And on the last regular season Saturday, that is not what you want if you're a fan of the Missouri Tigers.
And the Tigers' season low for points so far this year is 56. That was in the game against Georgia earlier. Back to Brown with 16 on the shot clock.
Mark, I've watched a lot of clips of Tennessee just in the last 24 hours. They're good in their man. They're good in their 2-3 zone. They're good in their 1-3-1. They are very good in 3 different areas defensively.
Jordan McRae with a little icing. Jordan back with a little education and elevation here for the fans. Take a bow on Senior Day. Back after this.
Studio. Let's take you out to Eugene, Arizona at Oregon. And Arizona, this is a close one.
TJ McConnell. He is the first pure point guard for Arizona, and Sean Miller, no doubt a difference maker.
7.5 minutes left to go in that one. A couple of bubble games right here. Not going so well for Pitt or Arkansas. Both these teams on the road and in need of wins. Coming up here on ESPN, Yogi Ferrell hoping to get a win on the road for Indiana, taking on Michigan. They're going to tip it up in about 17 and a half minutes time. Until then, back to Mark and Jimmy at Thompson Bowl.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Tennessee in control. They've been in control for a long time here on Senior Day, and the afternoon began with a ceremony about 15 minutes before the hour and before tip-off. Jordan McRae, one of 4 seniors, honored before the fans. And yeah, a little bounce there that he was showing off a moment ago. Drawn Mayman, senior forward, also here with his family, mom and dad, and he's had his moments today, doing it the hard way, flexing his muscles a bit.
It's really a testament to Jerron Mayman's will to win, because he's not playing on healthy legs this year. Did all he could to get himself back just to be able to step on the floor this year and put that Tennessee jersey on one more time. I saw one of the all-time great individual performances 2 years ago in Maui from Jerron Mayman. 32 points and 20 rebounds against Memphis out there in the Maui Invitational. 32 and 20.
Guy who's undersized most of the time at his position. Thompson comes up with a loose ball rebound. 3:23 to go.
Just like that one there. Mayman doesn't come down with the rebound, but because he's more physical and tougher than Missouri, he keeps the ball alive, and Tennessee goes the other end.
At his 23rd birthday just a couple of days ago. Reese off the mark. Mayman once again kept it alive. Back out to Thompson.
He just whipped 2 or 3 guys all by himself. Jerron Mayman did.
Gray pulls it back out. A couple of subs getting set to come back into the ball game. Under 3 minutes to go now.
Mark, unless Tennessee were to go down to Atlanta and lose in a bad way in their first game, I don't think there's any way that they're now going to slide out of the NCAA tournament.
You think they're in?
I think they're in. I think they're going to be more solid in than what we realize. You know, maybe around a 10 or 11 seed, but I think they're going to be now off of that last 4-in group.
And while we're talking about the SEC and seedings for the upcoming tournament, what about the job by Billy Donovan and his coaching staff this year, running the table 18-0? And well, you have to say they are the prohibitive favorite going into the conference tournament. Today beating Kentucky for the 2nd time this season.
Well, he's got 4 really cool seniors. If I had to pick an arena this weekend to be at on Senior Day, Florida would be my #1 choice. I talked about it in the first half. Louisville have been good as well. Creighton with Doug McDermott would be special, but that's a ball club that doesn't have any weaknesses. Kentucky tried to put a little pressure on them in the second half of that ball game today, and Florida said not enough. They just put the gas pedal down and smoked them on both ends of the floor. They have starters coming off the bench in Casey Hill and Dorian Finney-Smith. Chris Walker could start for a lot of teams that will be in the NCAA tournament. And Scotty Wilbekin, to me, is as good as any point guard in the country. Those are good starting points right there for a ball club that can win the national title.
Gray out front. Mayman with another rebound. 3 on the shot clock. Didn't hit anything. Going to step back. Here's Brown.
Time for Konzo to somehow get a dead ball and get his seniors off this floor to a round of applause.
What about the move by Coach Izzo the other day? Got one of his players to finally throw the ball out of bounds. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you to throw it out of bounds so I can get the seniors out of the ball game to get some applause, and here it comes. Points and 10 rebounds. And the 2 seniors embrace. McRae with 11 points. First-year player here at Tennessee. He also a senior. Came over from Memphis after graduating.
All 3 of those kids will sit down now and look you in the eye and talk about how Konzo Martin has made them a better man. Then eventually they'll get around to talking about a better basketball player and all those things. But to a man, I've sat and visited with those kids, and what Konzo Martin has done for them in terms of their development as a person, as a grown man, ready to succeed no matter what life throws them, that is huge. That is huge from a coach to a player relationship.
You spent a little time around Martin and his coaching staff, and You really get the feeling that they take a panoramic view, a holistic approach to coaching, not just what happens on the 94 by 50 piece of hardwood. Clark on the move. Nice crossover. And a bucket good underneath. I think that was Brown's first field goal of the day, and it comes with about 1:14 to go in the ball game. That kind of symbolizes the type of rough afternoon it's been for Missouri. He's just 1 of 10. Tigers now faced with regrouping going into the conference tournament. Still a lot of talent with Frank Hague's team. Most with the rebound. 1 minute to go. This one's cooked, raised, and ready to be sliced. As Tennessee will improve to 20-11 on the season and 11-7 in conference play. Pass with the miss. Missouri, meanwhile, going to fall to 22-10 and an even 9-9 in SEC play. Not much to complain about on social media or otherwise if you're a Volunteer fan.
A very, very good defensive ball club that Tennessee puts on the floor right now.
You know, there are always going to be people that say, hey, if someone walks on water, they'll complain and say, oh, he couldn't swim.
I've only known one that could walk on water, by the way. But this is a Tennessee team. Now, I know it's just one game, and I've talked about it a lot. They put Virginia in a 35-point beatdown right here, right before conference play began, by the way, and Virginia goes on and wins the ACC. So that win resonates and has multiplying effect, I think, in the eyes of the selection committee. Tennessee is sending a message today. They are going to belong. They will slide off of that last 4 in. I think they're going to be safely in. And Conzo Martin and his seniors will be hard to handle in the NCAA tournament because of how physical of a ball club they are on both ends of the court.
Great clinic in lockdown D. There was one of the main guys, Ron Maiman, the senior. Jordan McRae as well, as Tennessee wins it 72-45. And onward now to the SEC tournament. Coming up this week, the jubilant and victorious Jordy Mack with 11 points today. And listening and leading the chorus of Rocky Top. Getting some dap from the fans for the last time here at home. And we're joined courtside now by Tennessee's head coach, Conzo Martin. Coach, thanks a lot for joining us, and congratulations on the win. A real jubilant scene here as your team came out and set the tone early. What do you think was the key to being able to establish that tone and 10 early in the ball game?
Well, I just really think the last 4 games we've done a great job defending, playing well as a team, playing unselfish basketball on both ends of the floor. The things we talk about all season long, a lot of inconsistencies on either end of the floor. We couldn't quite put together complete games, and you saw the last 4 games we playing really well.
Conzo, the importance of your seniors today. You recognize them before the ball game, then they go out and get it done. Talk about what Jerron Maiman brings to this ball club. You know, playing, he's still not 100% with his legs, but he's 100% with his heart. Tough,
one of the toughest guys in the country. I mean, we joke all the time. He's like those credit cards. You can't leave home without him. He does, I mean, seriously, he does a tremendous job competing, bout I love him. And this is family. And, you know, it's his last go-around. A tremendous young man. His parents raised him well, just as well as other seniors. Just great having these guys, and I love being around them.
Conzo, I think you're built to win games on a neutral floor, if not so much in Atlanta as much for the NCAA tournament. I think you slide off the last 4 in, and you're safely in. Defensively, the last 3 ball games, 22% against Vandy, 37% against Auburn, 32% today. What do you do best defensively?
We just help each other. We do a great job helping each other. And again, this is stuff we talk about all season long. I just think at some point it kicks in. And since I've been in this program, down the stretch, we get better all the time. We just attribute to our guys wanting to learn and wanting to get better.
Hey, and you know what? Tomorrow morning, you don't have to settle for that oatmeal with no sugar.
Oh, right? Your wife's cooking breakfast.
Oh, yeah. Get some turkey bacon tomorrow.
A little turkey bacon, whatever you want, Coach.
You guys. Thank you.
Good luck in the SEC upcoming tournament. Volunteers win it. I can smell that turkey bacon now, Jim.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with turkey bacon.
I'll tell you what, they were cooking today. Martin from downtown, McRae up at the rim. Tennessee wins at 72-45. Right now, we're going to send you to Chris Cotter and Seth Greenberg back in the studio, guys.